Imagine growing tomatoes the size of softballs, bursting with flavor and rich in lycopene, all without a single drop of synthetic chemicals. While modern farmers lean heavily on fertilizers and technology, there's a community quietly mastering the art of growing some of the most flavorful, nutrient-dense tomatoes you've ever seen. In the quiet countryside, where horse-drawn buggies still clip-clop along dirt roads, Amish farmers have been cultivating the land using methods that haven't changed for centuries. No tractors, no lab-engineered seeds, no shortcuts, just a deep, time-honored relationship with the soil. So how do they do it? What's the secret behind these giant, meaty tomatoes that can weigh up to 4 pounds and taste like summer in every bite? Today, we're diving into the world of Amish agriculture, uncovering the sustainable, organic practices that yield tomatoes full of lycopene and flavor. Drive down a quiet country road in Pennsylvania or Ohio, and you'll likely pass a small farm with rows of vegetables, a horse-drawn plow in the distance, and children helping in the garden. That's Amish country. No tractors rumbling, no electric fences buzzing, just the sound of wind, birds, and work being done by hand. Gardening isn't just a hobby for the Amish, it's a way of life. Their food doesn't come from supermarkets, it comes from the soil just outside their door. And because of that, every seed they plant, every tomato they pick has purpose behind it. It's not just about yield, it's about nourishment. And it shows. Their tomatoes aren't just red, they're really red. They smell like tomatoes. And when you bite into one, you're not getting watery mush, you're getting real sun-ripened flavor. Before a single tomato plant goes into the ground, the Amish focus on something a lot of us forget about: the soil. They believe if you take care of the dirt, the plants will take care of themselves. And they're right. They use compost made from manure, straw, vegetable scraps, and old leaves. Nothing goes to waste. It all goes back into the earth. This compost feeds the soil, and the soil in turn feeds the plants. No chemical fertilizers, no synthetic boosters. Just good, old-fashioned organic matter. They also rotate their crops, meaning they never grow the same thing in the same spot year after year. That helps keep pests away and gives the soil a chance to recover. Healthy soil means healthy tomatoes. It's that simple. The seeds they use aren't bought from a store each year. Many Amish families save their own seeds, sometimes from tomatoes their ancestors grew decades ago. These are heirloom varieties, passed down through generations, each one chosen for its taste, not how well it ships or how uniform it looks. Heirloom tomatoes tend to have more lycopene than the mass-produced kind, and they come in all shapes, sizes, and shades of red, orange, even purple. They're not perfect looking, but they're full of character and full of flavor. By using these old seeds, the Amish keep a living connection to the past, and they preserve tomato varieties that big agriculture mostly forgot. To them, growing food isn't about convenience. It's about tradition and taste. Here's something you might not expect. Many Amish gardeners plant their tomatoes according to the phases of the moon. It sounds old-fashioned, maybe even superstitious, but to them, it's just another way of working with nature instead of against it. They believe the moon affects more than tides. It affects moisture in the soil, the way seeds swell, and even how roots grow. So they pay attention to the lunar calendar. When the moon is waxing, growing fuller, they plant crops that grow above ground, like tomatoes. When the moon is waning, they focus on root vegetables or simply let the garden rest. Whether or not you believe in lunar gardening, there's something quietly wise about it. It's not rushed, it's not forced. It's all about timing, patience, and trusting that nature knows what it's doing, if you're willing to listen. No one likes bugs in their tomatoes, but instead of spraying chemicals, the Amish use a mix of common sense, observation, and a few clever tricks passed down through generations. First, they plant flowers like marigolds near their tomatoes. Marigolds aren't just pretty, they help repel certain insects with their scent. You'll often see herbs like basil or dill growing nearby too. Not only do they keep pests away, they make great additions to the kitchen later on. Then there's the good old-fashioned way, hand picking. If they spot a hornworm or beetle, they pluck it off and get rid of it. No need for sprays when you've got sharp eyes and time to tend the plants every day. Some families also use chickens in the garden. Not during planting, of course, but once the plants are established, chickens help by eating bugs before they become a problem. It's nature helping nature. No poisons, no plastic traps, just balance. If you're imagining fancy drip systems or overhead sprinklers, think again. Amish gardens don't usually have irrigation at all. Instead, they rely on something that doesn't cost a dime: paying attention. They check the soil with their hands. If it's dry a few inches down, it's time to water. If it's still moist, they leave it alone. Overwatering is just as bad as underwatering, and the Amish trust their senses more than a schedule. They also use mulch, lots of it. Straw, grass clippings, leaves, whatever they have on hand. Mulch keeps the soil moist longer and protects it from drying out in the sun. Plus, as it breaks down, it feeds the soil, making the tomatoes even richer in flavor. Some families collect rainwater in barrels to use during dry spells. It's soft, chemical-free, and gentle on the plants. And because there's no electricity, watering is done by hand. Slowly, carefully, one plant at a time. It might take longer, but every drop is used with care. One of the biggest secrets behind that deep tomato flavor? The Amish let their tomatoes ripen fully on the vine. No early picking, no rushing them off to market while they're still pale and hard. In commercial farming, tomatoes are often picked green so they can survive transport. Later, they're sprayed with ethylene gas to ripen artificially. That's why they might look red at the store, but taste like cardboard at home. The Amish don't bother with that. Their tomatoes stay on the plant until they're truly ready. That's when the sugars are developed, the acids are balanced, and the lycopene, the powerful antioxidant that gives tomatoes their red color, is at its peak. It means the tomatoes are a bit softer, a little more fragile, but that's the price of real flavor. When you grow for taste instead of transport, you get tomatoes that actually taste like tomatoes. When it's time to harvest, it's not a solitary job. It's often a family affair. Kids help carry baskets, grandparents sort tomatoes on shaded porches, neighbors might stop by with their own fresh produce to trade. It's not just about the food, it's about connection. Some of the tomatoes will be eaten fresh, sliced thick on homemade bread with a bit of salt. Others will be canned, jarred, or turned into sauces that'll last through the winter. The Amish are masters of preservation, not because it's trendy, but because it's necessary. Every tomato has a use. Nothing is wasted. And because it's all been done by hand, from soil to harvest, there's a deep respect for what those tomatoes represent. Hard work, patience, and care. You don't have to live like the Amish to grow better tomatoes, but maybe there's something we can all learn from them. Start with the soil. Pay attention to the seasons. Use what you have. Don't rush things. And maybe most importantly, grow with care, not just for quantity, but for quality. In a world that moves fast and values convenience, the Amish remind us that sometimes the best things take time. And that includes a tomato that's so full of flavor, you can taste the sunshine in every bite. And maybe, just maybe, the secret to growing the perfect tomato is to slow down and grow it like it matters.